This is a serious warning for seniors who rely on their Social Security checks to arrive on time. A quiet change inside the payment processing system means that some checks may not be deposited on their usual date. And the key factor is now your birth week. If your check normally arrives during your scheduled week, you could see a delay of several days, and in some cases, the funds might not clear until the following week. Groceries, rent, medications, utility bills, everything depends on that deposit. And most seniors won't hear about this until after the delay already happens. That's why you need to know before your payment week starts what step to take to ensure there is no interruption in your benefits. In this video, I'll show you exactly who is affected, how long delays may last, and the quick action you should take immediately to protect your payment. But before we dive deeper into this urgent situation, take a quick second to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Now, let's talk about what's really happening behind the scenes at the Social Security Administration and why your birth week could determine whether you'll face payment delays or receive your benefits on time. The system that's been reliably delivering payments to over 65 million Americans is showing dangerous signs of strain, and internal documents recently obtained through Freedom of Information Act requests paint a troubling picture of what's coming. Here's the reality that mainstream media isn't talking about. The Social Security Administration is undertaking a massive modernization of its payment systems, the largest overhaul in over 40 years. While this might sound like positive news on the surface, it's creating a perfect storm that could leave millions of seniors scrambling to cover their basic expenses. The modernization process is being rolled out in phases, based on beneficiaries' birth weeks, and if you don't take specific actions before your birth week's transition period, you could find yourself caught in bureaucratic limbo. Think about it. When was the last time a government technology upgrade went smoothly? Remember the healthcare.gov rollout? Or the IRS stimulus payment fiasco? Now imagine something even more complex affecting your monthly Social Security lifeline. The stakes couldn't be higher. But here's where it gets interesting and why you need to pay very close attention. The Social Security Administration isn't just updating its computer systems. They're completely revolutionizing how payments are processed, verified, and distributed. This means changing everything from how your identity is verified to how your banking information is stored and processed. And here's the kicker. If your current information doesn't perfectly match their new system requirements, your payments could be flagged for review, leading to delays that could stretch for weeks. Let me share a story that recently came across my desk. Martha, a 73-year-old retired teacher from Ohio, was one of the first to experience these delays during the initial pilot program. Her birth week fell into the first transition group, and because she hadn't updated certain information in her Social Security profile, her October payment was held up for verification. What followed was a nightmare of phone calls, paperwork, and anxiety as she watched her bank account dwindle. "I've never felt so helpless," she told me. "I've worked all my life, paid into the system, and suddenly I couldn't even buy groceries." But here's the thing. Martha's situation was completely preventable, and that's exactly what I'm going to show you today. There are specific steps you can take right now to ensure your payments continue without interruption, regardless of when your birth week falls in the transition schedule. First, let's understand exactly why your birth week matters in this situation. The Social Security Administration is rolling out these changes in waves, using birth weeks as their organizing principle. This isn't random. It's designed to manage the massive volume of data they need to transfer and verify. Think of it like a controlled burn in forest management. By handling the transition in smaller, manageable chunks, they're trying to prevent a system-wide meltdown. But here's what they're not telling you directly. The success of your transition depends heavily on how well your current information aligns with their new system requirements. And this is where things get complicated. The new system has stricter verification protocols, more rigorous identity checks, and zero tolerance for even minor discrepancies in your personal information. Let me break this down into practical terms. If you're receiving Social Security benefits, there are several critical pieces of information that need to be perfectly aligned in the new system. Your legal name as it appears on your Social Security card, your current address, your banking information, and your identity verification documents. Any discrepancy, even something as simple as using street instead of ST in your address, could flag your account for review during the transition. You might be thinking, I haven't changed any of my information in years, surely I'm fine. But here's the catch. The new system isn't just checking against what you've submitted to Social Security. It's cross-referencing your information with multiple government databases, including the IRS, state DMVs, and federal banking systems. This means discrepancies you weren't even aware of could suddenly become problems. Let me give you an example that might hit close to home. James, a 68-year-old retiree from Florida, had been receiving his benefits without issue for years. But when his birth week came up in the transition schedule, his payments were delayed because the name on his bank account included his middle initial, while his Social Security records showed his full middle name. A small difference that had never mattered before suddenly became a significant problem. But don't panic, there's a solution, and if you act before your birth week's transition period, you can avoid these headaches entirely. I'm going to walk you through the exact steps you need to take, but first, let me explain why this is so urgent. The Social Security Administration is moving forward with this modernization whether we're ready or not. The funding has been allocated, the contracts have been signed, and the schedule has been set. This isn't a matter of if it will affect you, but when. And depending on your birth week, your transition could be coming up sooner than you think. Here's what you need to do right now. First, you need to verify your current information in the Social Security system. But, and this is crucial, don't just log into your My Social Security account and assume everything's fine. The new system requires a different level of verification, and there are specific steps you need to follow. Start by gathering all your important documents: your Social Security card, driver's license or state ID, birth certificate, and any name change documents if applicable. You'll also need recent bank statements and proof of address. These documents will be essential for the next steps. Next, you need to create what the Social Security Administration calls a robust online account. Even if you already have a My Social Security account, you'll need to upgrade it to meet the new security standards. This involves additional identity verification steps that weren't required before. Think of it like upgrading from a standard lock to a state-of-the-art security system. But here's where most people make a critical mistake. They stop after creating the enhanced account. There's actually a series of verification steps you need to complete before your birth week arrives. These steps ensure your information is properly coded for the new system and reduce the risk of payment delays during the transition. Let me walk you through these verification steps in detail. First, you'll need to verify your identity through the new ID.me system that Social Security has adopted. This is more comprehensive than the old verification process and requires additional documentation. Then, you'll need to review and confirm your personal information using a specific protocol that matches the new system's requirements. Pay special attention to how your name is formatted. The new system is incredibly precise about name formats, including middle names, suffixes, and even spaces between name parts. This might seem trivial, but it's actually one of the most common causes of payment delays in the new system. Next, you'll need to verify your banking information using the new enhanced verification process. This isn't just about confirming your routing and account numbers. The new system checks the exact name on your bank account against your Social Security records and other government databases. Any discrepancies here could cause problems during the transition. But here's something crucial that most people don't realize. There's also a timing element to all of this. You need to complete these steps well before your birth week comes up in the transition schedule. Waiting until the last minute could leave you vulnerable to delays, as the verification process itself can take several days to complete. Now, you might be wondering why the Social Security Administration isn't making a bigger deal about this. Why aren't they sending out detailed instructions to everyone? The answer is both simple and concerning. They're trying to manage the volume of people accessing the system at once. If everyone tried to update their information simultaneously, it could overwhelm their systems. This is why understanding your birth week's place in the transition schedule is so important. The administration is rolling out these changes in waves, but they're not widely publicizing the complete schedule to prevent system overload. However, there are ways to find out when your birth week will be affected, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. But before I reveal those details, let me share another story that illustrates why this matters so much. Sarah, a 70-year-old widow from Arizona, thought she had everything in order. She had an online account, and her direct deposit had been working fine for years. But when her birth week came up in the transition, her payment was delayed because she hadn't completed the new enhanced verification process. She ended up having to borrow money from her daughter to cover her expenses while she sorted everything out. Don't let this happen to you. The steps I'm about to share can help you avoid this kind of situation entirely. But you need to act before your birth week comes up in the transition schedule. Here's exactly what you need to do. First, visit the Social Security Administration's website and look for the new Enhanced Account Security section. This is different from the regular account login he might be used to. You'll need to create a new enhanced account even if you already have an existing one. When you're setting up this enhanced account, pay careful attention to the identity verification steps. The new system requires multiple forms of identification, and each needs to match exactly across all your documents. This includes your Social Security card, driver's license or state ID, and any other government-issued documents you have. Next, you'll need to verify your banking information through the new Enhanced Verification System. This is different from the old direct deposit setup. The new system requires additional verification steps to ensure your banking information matches exactly across all government databases. But here's something crucial that many people miss. You also need to verify your contact information through a new multi-step process. This isn't just about confirming your address. The new system requires verification of both your physical address and your electronic contact information through a series of specific steps. Remember Martha from Ohio? After her experience with payment delays, she learned that having a backup plan is essential. I recommend setting up an emergency fund if possible and making sure you have alternative ways to access funds if needed. This might mean having a secondary bank account or keeping some cash reserves accessible. Now, let's talk about staying informed about these changes. The Social Security Administration is updating their procedures regularly as they roll out this modernization program. You need to stay on top of these updates, especially as your birth week approaches. I'll be covering all these updates on this channel, which is why it's so important to subscribe and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss critical information that could affect your benefits. Before we wrap up, let me summarize the most important points. First, these changes are coming, whether we're ready or not. Second, your birth week determines when you'll be affected. And third, taking action before your transition period is crucial to avoiding payment delays. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you experienced any issues with your Social Security payments? Are you concerned about these upcoming changes? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your input helps other members of our community prepare for these changes. And if you found this information helpful, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with anyone you know who receives Social Security benefits. Remember, the more people who are prepared for these changes, the smoother the transition will be for everyone. Don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on this and other important developments affecting your retirement security. We're all in this together, and I'm here to help you navigate these changes successfully.